Chapter 22. Awakening and Other States. The proof of the states according to the Siddhars principles. Jagrat, wakefulness. Swapna, dream. Sushupti, dreamless sleep. Duryam, the state I guard. Param, the highest state of the four. The power of Jagrat is manifested in the forehead region, in the place where the dream is seen, and Sushupti in the heart. Duryam develops in the Navistanam and Param in the primary aura. 2. In this regard, as seen in the second chapter, it is worth noting the practice given by Subhapati Swamigal. The Siddha power should be directed upwards through the upper places, reaching the root aura and passing it in the western direction through the nadi in the Vina Danda Thila. In the same way, in the Sri Lalita Sahasranama, the sadhaka is prescribed to worship from the Vishuddhi chakra, gradually reaching the Anahata, Manipura, Svadhisthana, and Muladhara, and then directly to the Ajna chakra, that is, the western path to the center of the eyebrows. 3. Yoga Suttam Manupanishad. The Jagarita of all beings is established in the eye in the agar of pranava. The Swapnavasta is established in the Kanda Stanam and in the Sushupti Maharam of the heart. The Virat is established in the agar of the gross Brahman. The Iranya Garbhar is established in the Suksham Brahman, and the Prajna is established in the aggregate of the causal body. Respectively, they represent the qualities of Rajas, Tamo, and Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. 4. Mandala Brahmana Upanishad Bhashyam. Just as the atom that stops waking and begins sleep, so also he who knows the moment of sleep and the moment of beginning wakefulness knows Brahma. Gado Upanishad, Shruti. The widow who knows that it is Para-Brahman who gives us the sensation of objects in sleep and wakefulness does not grieve. In the state of wakefulness, he perceives things through the mind and the senses. At the end of wakefulness, the senses rest and there is a deep sleep. The state of sleep comes only after that. On entering deep sleep, one becomes one with Para-Brahman. However, due to the bondage of the acquired body, tamas covers it, and that body becomes invisible. At the end of sleep, the dream state appears. It is accompanied by the soul. The mind, there is a kind of samadhi between sleep and yoga samadhi. In both, the mind rests, which is liberation for the soul. In sleep, even though the mind rests, it hinders liberation because it remains even a tiny particle. Even though the mind is at rest, the gunas are still moving. In yoga samadhi, the gunas of evil are completely removed and the mind remains in the form of the vast Brahman without any difference. Therefore, the dual sin is removed and liberation is attained. This is also the case in Islam, Sufi Siddha. Whether a prisoner in prison or a great king, they are freed from their bonds and sleep. The wise man is also awake in that state. 5. The nature of sleep described by our elders above is somewhat similar to the Western tradition of mind-searching. In the auto-suggestion method prescribed by Ku, one should ask for the desired thing and keep repeating the same sentence over and over until sleep comes. First, he will completely calm their mental agitation and tell them to lie down. It is as if the patient is losing patience because he has not spoken, and instead of confronting the harmful mental disorders, such as lust and anger, he sets them aside and begins this treatment by calming the mind. As Basu says in the Gita, if the mind is calmed, happiness will come and reach you. If one goes to sleep seeking any pleasure, sleep will come well, and the requests will be fulfilled. It seems that the tension of the mind is caused by the samskaras such as lust and anger, and by the samskaras such as shyness, fear, and laziness. The process of balancing these qualities and developing the virtue is described in the 9th chapter, paragraph 6. 6. The Kaolites consider the things we do in dreams to be the cause of good and bad, just as we do them in waking life. The mind, which is held in check by public pressure, national culture, fear of the royal punishment, etc., seems to move freely in the dream state, and therefore it becomes adept to observe the dream state very carefully. 7. For this purpose, Neil Pratyar has mentioned the practice they have prescribed. As soon as the time for sleep comes, go outside, wash your feet, and sleep in the position called Simhasanam in that country. That is, while reciting the yajna, the body should be positioned on the right side, and the legs should be stretched out, and the left leg should be stretched above the feet. Then, if you do the Swacha Tejo Mayatyati and sleep, you will not have any kind of dark mind. If you go to bed while carefully meditating on the great teachings, the sinful intellects will not arise, and even the sleep period will become a time of practice. Until sleep comes, your mind will go to sleep on the path you have followed and will benefit you. 8. The above-mentioned Anustanamas of Nila Pratyar, our Siddhas, also go to the higher lands and the lower lands. It seems that the elders also approve of it. However, in one aspect, what Nila Pratyar said is contrary to the practice of other elders. I would venture to say that according to the correct religion, it is better to sleep with the left leg down and the left side facing downwards. This should be studied by good sadhakas and experts in the sciences. 9. The explanation of Patanjali's Yoga Sutta that the knowledge of sleep gives yoga siddhi is that the sadhaka meditates on the divine form and gives him a darshan in his dream, and by remembering that form in his waking life, he gains siddhi. It is also believed that the good men who have attained parakati and are wandering in the higher worlds come to the Kalma Nidra and give the aspirant the necessary mantras for Chaitanya. In the years 1912-1913, I often met the late Professor Ramanuja, a great mathematician. At that time, I had never felt more grateful for his mathematical intelligence. When I was looking for someone to help me to write down the rare occurrences of birth in a book of Kayat and to perform it, he told me that he and his ancestors used to see the devotees of Narsa Mahopasakas bleeding in the Siddhika Dailam Nidra. When he saw such Raka Bindus, he would see before him many new and astonishing higher mathematical analyses and Kayat scrolls spread out before him. Ram, write them down in a notebook as much as you can remember when you wake up. Isn't this a strange act of God's grace? Let there be a higher mathematics lesson, even for ordinary people, if the right solution does not appear immediately in difficult situations. It is a piece of paper that can be kept aside so that they can sleep and look at it the next day. Many have experienced that our soul energy does some work in sleep and the right solution appears on its own the next day. 10. You may remember the principle of Sir James Jeans mentioned in the 9th paragraph of the 3rd chapter. He has said that higher mathematical functions are better for proving the truths. Another example of this can be given by Sir James Jeans, following Sri Ramanuja's higher mathematics. If done secretly, you will become immortal in 7 days. In 70 days, you will gain strength that will increase even the demons. In 6 months, you will be cured of all diseases. In 3 years, you will get the strength of the 7 oceans. If you achieve this, you will be able to worship the strength of all the worlds. In this way, other tattva dharanas, indriya, tana tablets, etc. have been told by Malini Vijaya. 11. For the severe cases, Neil Pratyar has prescribed an abhyasam according to the Kalaya method. In this way, naked sadhus can comfortably sit on the ice-covered tip of the barren land. A person who has received this initiation should not use wool or even a thick book. The first abhyasam should be practiced under the supervision of the guru. Then one should go to a secluded high place on the mountain. One should get up early in the morning and complete the practice before sunrise. One should sit in the Padmasana or the upright Sukhasana. One should extend the thumb, forefinger, and index finger and fold the other two fingers into the palm and place the hands on the knees. One should purify the air channel through pranayama, and with the help of rasakat, one should expel the vices of lust, anger, arrogance, and laziness. One should drink the all-pure Agni seed called Ram with the help of Purakat. On top of that, Maharam, from which a goddess will emerge. Many religious scriptures say that if you use the fire called Ram as a sari, you can burn anything. Then you will become that deity and perform the niyasam of the navel, akara and hakara. Prahu will slowly perform the purakam that spreads all the way to the bottom and will insert the agni, which looks like a small ball like a string, into the akaram of the navel lotus. Develop the asani in each purakam and then stop the breath straight and spread that agni in the middle of the body. Prahu will alternately perform the kumbhakams of the Rasanta Purakam and meditate on Agni in unison. The cold will go away and the heat will come.